Hello, this is Joe83, and this is episode 17 of the My Team Lotus career mode, and we're here in Sochi for the Russian Grand Prix, and it's a circuit that I absolutely hate. It's probably my least favourite circuit in the calendar, definitely up there as one of the worst, but it's actually a little bit better this game than it was last year, I think, so hopefully a good result will take place nonetheless. But yeah, in the practice programs, they're all pretty simple, just because, as I've seen a couple of times this season, if there's a really long straight on the track, then the practice deltas are really easy to get. So yeah, purple in the majority of these on the fuel there, lifting off massively in the final sector, but we've just about done it. ERS fairly straightforward with no ERS use at all that lap, I don't think. And yeah, across the line for the more points for the team. Obviously, in the previous race, we saw that we got confirmed that some rule changes are taking place, so I'm actually not going to spend the resource points until we know which areas are getting reset, because I don't want to obviously waste them on upgrades that then will get obsolete. So I'm just going to save all the points up, and then once we know what's happening, I'll use them then. But straight into qualifying then for the Russian Grand Prix. It's a bit overcast, but it's definitely going to stay dry for the full session this time, unlike in Singapore. But coming onto the first lap in Q1 then, coming around the final few corners, and a slight lock up on the front right, but it's going to be a 31.2, which puts me in 10th at the minute, but it's only ahead of Magnussen and the two Williams, so it's 20th by the end of the session. But at the end of Q1, through the final sector here, 4 tenths up, so definitely a big improvement compared to last lap. And if you look at the delta, yeah, almost half a second now, so that should be enough to raise me definitely ahead of the cars. It'll be interesting to see where we are in relation to my teammate Nick de Vries. Obviously, he's beat me in every single session so far in qualifying, so it'd be nice to actually get one over on him, as he's meant to be the number 2 driver really. But through around the final few corners across the line, 7 tenths improvement, and it was actually good enough for Q2 for the first time I think since Austria. We've made it out of Q1 and into the second part of qualifying in 16th place. It just scraped through, but yeah, very close to my teammate, only over a 10th and a half just off him. But he's in 11th, so potentially he might do a good job in Q2 as well, maybe get our first ever Q3, which I definitely thought I would have got. But at the end of Q2 now, my first lap was on the dead soft, so obviously not a very good lap with 16th currently. My teammate de Vries in 14th, but down towards turn 1, breaking just below 100 meter board and trying to get it slowed down nicely, not cutting the corner too much there, hopping over the curve and losing a bit of time compared to the previous lap. And through the big, massive turn 3, keeping it obviously fully flat out in these high downforce cars, and down towards turn 4, braking over the curbs, trying to get nicely, get the nose in, but it's understeered a little bit over the curb and exit, losing a little bit more time to my previous lap. So it's not been a fantastic sector 1, and we're a 10th and a bit down on Lance Stroll's 12th place time at the minute. But coming through the middle sector, it's definitely time to gain here, as it's the bit that relies on the tyre grip, so hopefully the fresher tyres will help me out. Like, the orange curbs this year are also really big around this part of the track compared to last year, so you can't really corner cut as easily, which is obviously a good thing for league racing, but for career mode it's a bit annoying, especially that one there. That's quite a big one, but we've rode it pretty well there, and it's a 10th up now coming down the rest straight. And if we look at the sector 2 split, what's it going to be in relation to Kvyat now? He's 12th. Actually, Norris is 12th now. It's going to be 2 tenths off him, so it looks like the Q3 dream is not going to happen for me. Maybe de Vries can improve, but we'll have to wait and see. Through the final sector, relying heavily on the rear tyres here in the slow speed corners, braking just after the crane on the right, getting it nicely put in for the first part of the chicane, and not really on the apex on either part of the chicane there, but the exit's been okay. We're only a 10th and a half up, so it's not going to be a very big improvement. My teammate de Vries now 15th, so it's an 8th row lockout for the Lotus boys at the minute, but coming around the final corner, about 2.5 tenths improvement, and it's going to put me in 16th place, which is a bit unfortunate. I think there was definitely a bit more pace in that lap. It wasn't perfect, but yeah, through to Q2 I can't really complain. And my teammate de Vries actually on the same row as me. I was only a 10th and a bit off him again, so pretty well matched, but unfortunately the car pace just not really good enough for any better than that. So yeah, we'll have to make the best of the situation in the race, but one stop, a lot of fuel on board obviously, and onto the grid now for the 500 lights from the Russian Grand Prix with Valtteri Bottas ahead of me with a penalty. And it's lights out and away we go. It's pretty short hold, and we're up into 15th because of another penalty as well, but a good start compared to de Vries alongside me. Thinking about running outside Bottas, who just can't make it work. He had to give me space there, leaving so much space on the inside of the kink of turn 1, just because I don't want to squeeze anyone into the wall there. And Stroll now going defensive. Raikkonen and Norris as well up ahead, and we're going to go into that space that's there, down to 3rd gear for turn 1, trying to pick up as many places as possible. Almost hitting Kimi Raikkonen there, not quite. But Kevin Magnussen, who actually went out in Q1, so he must have been at best 17th on the grid, has now made his way past me into 12th on lap within sector 1, but going to send one back on him, just about think better of it, and not getting any damage or losing my front wing there. But we're up into 13th, up 2 places, including Valtteri Bottas, who's going to be quite hard to keep behind, almost running into the back of Magnussen there, which would have been very bad, but managed to keep it clean. And through his middle sector, it's just about keep getting into a rhythm and trying to avoid any damage or anything, not drop off the back too badly, because obviously the likes of the Alfa Romeos and the Alfa Tauris we should have the pace over in the first part of the race, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. Obviously Russia is a track where tyre wear is pretty much non-existent, so you can do whatever you want on strategy really. It's going to be an easy one to start, you can pit whatever and go to the end, but down the back straight now, overtake mode enabled, rich mix enabled, Magnussen's going pretty slowly, so we're going to switch to the inside. He's going to go a bit squirrely there on the down in towards the braking zone, but side by side now, he turns in on me a bit there, but leaves me a bit of space, and that's my position into 12th place, which is a pretty good start on lap 1. And now it actually took quite a while because it was just such a DRS train. You can see I'm still just about within the DRS of Raikkonen, but the Alfa Romeos were pulling away a little bit, which is a bit worrying really, because I need to stay with that top pack if I want to get points in this race. So yeah, that's one to keep an eye on. But I think this is a massive train, I think, behind Max Verstappen, who seems to be struggling in maybe 4th place or something. So yeah, it's important to stay with it. Currently 12th, we gapped Bottas a little bit. We've got a big gap to Magnussen. He's not really got the pace in the race, but actually it's a big cloud of smoke. That's going to be Raikkonen's engine is gone in a pretty dramatic way, and he's going to pull off the left hand side there out of the race for the Finn. And yeah, that's going to also probably potentially cause a safety car, because obviously we see plenty of times retirements, even mechanical retirements, just cause safety cars all the time when I say for some reason. But trying to stay with Giovinazzi, obviously we lost the DRS, but that doesn't matter because there is a safety car deployed. So yeah, up into 11th, and we're going to peel into the pits as well. It's only lap 6, but of course the free pit stop is quite a long pit lane around here, so taking advantage of the safety car, as many other drivers are doing as well, taking advantage of the reduced time. And yeah, you don't lose as much time in the pits obviously when a safety car is out. So onto the medium tyres for the rest of the race. Quite a few cars are actually carrying on, so that'll be interesting to see where they are in relation. And also as we've seen in Monza and in Singapore, there's so many drivers having to double stack, because they're both pitting at the same time, as it's the ideal time to pit really. So that could raise me a couple of places, as I'm obviously the lead driver in this race. So yeah, up into 9th place in it, and 5 drivers carried on. I can't tell you which 5, but yeah, I can tell you that 5 did carry on. So that leaves me in a net 4th place in a minute. Ricciardo's also a bit of a hards, so that'll be interesting to see if we might have the pace over him now because of these medium tyres compared to the hards. But yeah, safety car restart now. Verstappen is leading the race effectively in 6th there, Perez 2nd, Ricciardo 3rd, and myself in 4th. The Mercs and the Ferraris have been binned off by the pit crews, but yeah, safety car restart now, and we've got to try and stay with Ricciardo as much as possible. Sainz will have the pace over me as well, so we try and keep him behind for the 10th place at the minute. But obviously once all the top guys pit, it will be effectively 4th, which would be an unbelievable result if we can stay here. But with the likes of the Ferraris and the Mercs coming back at us, it's going to be very hard to hold on to, especially with oversteer like that through turn 2. So yeah, on the end of that same lap actually, you can see Verstappen up ahead going for a move on Nicholas Latifi in the Williams. He's got to make it stick very quickly, and it could be an opportunity to take advantage here because Perez and Ricciardo are getting hemmed in a bit by the Williams driver who hasn't stopped yet. So we're going to try and take advantage, be very opportunistic, go up the inside of Ricciardo into this slow speed section. You wouldn't normally see overtakes here, leaving his pace on the inside of the second part of the apex. And we've just about done it, up into a net podium once everyone pits. And yeah, try and take advantage and go ahead of Latifi as quickly as possible, as yeah, it's very important to try and break away if he's going to stay out for a bit longer and hold everyone up potentially. But Sergio Perez is going to try and move past him now down the pit straight. No DRS yet, because it's only lap 2 since safety car came in. But Perez is going to have a big slipstream anyway and go for it on Latifi. I was not close enough really for a move into turn 2, but we're going to break nice and late, try and line up a move through the turn 3 section. Latifi's got a bit of oversteer there, running to the back of him slightly, but luckily no damage. But it's going to give Ricciardo a chance now down the outside of turn 3, and he's going to make this one work. He's a very bold on the brakes, we know, but I'm going to be bold on the brakes as well. 7-1 on Latifi. Down the inside Canadian. Ricciardo's down the inside me, hits my front right tyre there, and that's off the track. I've got an illegal overtake on Ricciardo, which I don't think was very fair because it was a completely ridiculous move really from Ricciardo. But I don't know what's going on now. I'm trying to let Ricciardo through without really handing it back, so we're going to let him through. Sainz trying to pick up the pieces as well. 3 wide into this very narrow section of the track. I've gone wide once again, and Ricciardo has gone through. Sainz is buzzing around all over the place as well. There he is in the McLaren, and it's so close, but running outside of Carlos Sainz, he's going to swipe me as well down towards the next corner. So I don't know what the AI were playing at really. Ricciardo seems to try and take me out into turn 4, and then Sainz, yeah, weaving all over the place here. But we've got the DRS, no we haven't, we've got the rich mix and overtake mode on Sainz, and that's going to give me a chance down towards the next braking zone for, I think, turn 12 this is. And Ricciardo, we saw in the first few laps that I did have the pace over him on those hard tyres, but it'll be interesting to see if we can close up to him now. But actually by lap 12 we have done that, and we are right on the back of the Australian in his Renault, and a few cars are in the pits as well. But unfortunately for me, Vettel and Hamilton are now past all the midfield drivers, and they're right at the back of me as well. So if we can try and make this move from Ricciardo as quickly as possible and hope that he trains up all the fast guys, then that'll be very helpful. But down the inside of turn 1, it should be fairly straightforward. If he's not going to cover it, no he isn't. And yeah, into the braking zone, he's going to weave on me a little bit. Very close racing, but we've just about done it on the inside of the first proper corner on the track. And yeah, hopefully we can bolt away now ahead of Vettel and Hamilton, who are going to try and keep with us. But by lap 14, only a couple laps later, and Vettel and Ricciardo and Hamilton have both deposed of Ricciardo. And yeah, they're now challenging me very quickly, and inside of Vettel goes, but holding around the outside is a very effective way against the AI to hold them off. So I've done that quite well there, and yeah, down towards turn 4, Vettel can't have anything to recover with until 1 lap later. You can see on the minimap the amount of training we've got behind us. We've got both Mercedes, Ricciardo and Leclerc, and Vettel right behind me as well. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see yeah, how this goes really. It's going to be defending from here on in really, and Vettel's going up the inside of the turn 6, and we try to hold one round the outside, just about forcing him over that apex, and the AI is so unconfident on the throttle there, but he's still at the inside actually, so we're going to leave him space on the apex there, but we just about held it round the outside. But you can see the gap that Perez has got. He's 5 seconds clear now, so I'm doing an absolute job for Racing Point, sorry, giving Perez effectively a free podium because he's going to the end. But I'm now in a net podium as well. But Hamilton's going to try and change that up the inside of the same corner as last lap, but round the outside again, and we're just about going to pull the same move, defensive move. But Hamilton is still alongside me into the next few corners, and we're trying to go round the outside again and force him over that curb and taking that position back into 3rd place. And everyone has made their final stops now, so yeah, this is a net position with 3rd place with 10 laps to go. But with driving like that, I won't be here for long, so yeah, got to keep on it and really push as hard as possible. But oversteer there is not going to help, and that's going to give Hamilton a big chance down towards the entry of the DRS straight. He's gone for it. We're going to allow a switch track move, and that was a lovely move to hold off Lewis Hamilton. But this battling with the top guys, I didn't expect to have it in season 1 really. But yeah, that's actually cost Hamilton a few places. Vettel and Bottas have both gone past him, which could be crucial for the championship. Hamilton, Bottas, and Leclerc actually are very close at the top of the championship, so that could be crucial with Hamilton dropping back to 6th. But meanwhile, Vettel's coming back at me, and we're going to have to do the same move once again, forcing over that inside curb. And yeah, fairly standard defense really. We've seen it a couple of times now, and once again it pays off. And down towards turn 4, Vettel has nothing to fight back with, which is nice. But into the braking zone, trying to brake nice and late, but unfortunately missed the apex slightly over those curves. Is not going to be helpful. And Vettel's going to take advantage here, go up the inside, and he's well too far clear to try anything there. So unfortunately lost that place, and the podium looks off the cards now, because Vettel will absolutely bolt into the distance. And yeah, I've got the two Mercedes to worry about now, especially with understeer like that. Through the dirty air of the Ferrari is very bad, and Bottas is going to try and follow him through, running outside of the next corner. I've still just about got a car alongside the apex, and Bottas has to back out of that one. The flying fin, and down towards the next corner, still side by side. I don't think either of us are going to have DRS, because I think it was side by side over the line there. I don't have DRS, definitely. I don't know if he has, but yeah, I managed to hold off once again. But a couple hours later, out 22 now. You can see how far Vettel's got into the distance. He's 5 seconds clear, and Perez is now 13 seconds clear. So it'll be interesting to see if he can hold it to 2nd place. But yeah, only 5 laps remaining. It's for the Mercedes to overtake me. Otherwise, 4th place could be on the card. So I say that as Bottas is coming very quickly towards my rear wing. He's going to go down the outside and down towards the next braking zone. Try and brake nice and late, but Bottas is just too far clear into the braking zone. And the wash of dirty air was insane. The understeer through mid-corner there was very poor. So yeah, Bottas is going to drive off into the distance as well. Still got Hamilton behind me though, so he's the next one to come past. And yeah, going defensive into turn 1. Hamilton's going to go up the inside, but I've seen this a couple of times, and we're going to be able to hold him off once again, braking nice and late, locking at the front right. But it doesn't matter at this point because there's only 4 laps remaining. That could give Leclerc a chance actually down the inside of turn 4, because I've put Hamilton off again. So he's really struggling to pass me, which is quite surprising. And Leclerc is going to go past and almost challenge me as well as turn 4. I think it might be 3 wide momentarily, because Albon's trying to get past Hamilton as well. Leclerc's trying to get past me, but not quite. But down towards the next corner, Leclerc still buzzing all over the place. Hamilton's going back down the inside. Really aggressive driving from the world champion. But Leclerc's just about to hold that in his Ferrari. And then later on the same lap, actually, Leclerc is now in a position to challenge me down towards the next corner. We saw Bottas go past me. And yeah, Leclerc is going to try the same move. And down towards the opening DRS now, I think it is about for Leclerc. He's going to go down the outside, and the straight down speed of that Ferrari is insane. So yeah, nothing I can do to fight against that. And unfortunately, back down to 6th place, which yeah, the heights of 3rd are pretty much a distant memory at this point. Bottas is now 6 seconds clear. So yeah, looking unlikely that we're going to get our first ever podium. Well, looking impossible pretty much, unless something mental happens, which is pretty unlikely. But now Hamilton is in a position to challenge down the main straight as well, if we just keep the final 2 corners clean. But that's not what's going to happen. Going wide in the second last corner, Hamilton's going to try and go up the inside. Very aggressive move, and he's hit my side pod there. I don't think that was my fault really. I left him plenty of space, but Albon's going to challenge him now, and Hamilton managed to hold him off. But then 1 lap later, a few laps later actually, penultimate lap now, and Hamilton is going to try down the outside at the same place his teammate got through, but just about forcing him out. And for some reason, Hamilton just could not get past me. And yeah, once again hitting my side pod. That probably was my fault that time, but I don't really care, to be honest. And yeah, we've taken that place, and we're now 1.5 seconds clear. But unfortunately, 1 lap later, the very last lap of the race, and Hamilton is in a position to challenge once again. for 6th place, which would be my best result, well, equal best result so far if I can hold it. But Hamilton's going to try and change that. He's going to go down the outside, down towards the next braking zone, and he's going to take that pretty easily as Verstappen wins the race. Hamilton locks up though, but gets into the apex of the corner without me being alongside. So unfortunately, nothing I can do. I did well to hold him off for so long, but yeah, in the end, that power of the Mercedes just overruling this Lotus, which is still very poor in terms of raw car pace. But Verstappen wins the race. It was a very mixed up order. I think Perez finished second in the end, with Sebastian Vettel third. So none of the real key players in the championship doing that well. But yeah, around the final corner, it's going to be 7th, which is definitely my best result in quite a while. So I'll happily take it. But it's like, what could have been if the car had a little bit more pace? We maybe could have been up there with Perez for that 2nd place. But it is what it is, and we move on to better things. But 6th place is still a good result. Not 6 points, sorry, is a good result. Nick de Vries almost getting his 2nd points finish this season in 11th, but not quite, unfortunately. Sainz ended up in 19th, I don't really know how. But yeah, Verstappen, Perez and Vettel, a very strange top 3, not one you would have predicted at the start of the weekend. But yeah, you can see the championship is so close between Hamilton and Bottas, with Leclerc not far behind. I'm in 11th place, which is pretty much where I'm expected to stay, because the car is really struggling to get in the points on a regular basis. Yeah, Constructors are still 9th place, which is pretty poor. I'd like to beat AlphaTauri if I can, but it'll be quite hard work. Yeah, that's going to be the end of this video. Hope you have enjoyed it. If you have any, leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more. This has been JMY83, and I will see you next time.